Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us for this conversation. We've been hearing from you. We've gotten your messages, we've gotten your emails, we've gotten your calls. And we know that as the provider of an essential service, it's absolutely critical that we have a conversation with you, our customers. So this morning, we thank you for joining us. My name is Winsome Callum. I'm the Director for Corporate Communications and Customer Experience at JPS. And I have with me senior executives, and we want to give you an update and engage in a conversation with regards to what we have been doing and what we plan to do to serve you and the country in this crisis. I have with me our CEO, Emmanuel DeRosa. I also have our Chief Financial Officer, Vernon Douglas, and our Vice President for Customer Services, Mr. Ramsey McDonald. I'm going to hand over to Mr. DeRosa Emmanuel now, who will give us an update.
Good morning, customers. A blessed Saturday to you all. A beautiful day here in Jamaica. It's sunny where I am, and I'm hoping that it's sunny right across the country. It's been my pleasure and honor to call Jamaica home for myself and my family for the past 3 years. And as Winston said, my name is Emmanuel DeRosa, and I'm the President and CEO. In terms of the challenges that we're facing as a nation, with the coronavirus, in terms of economic and health challenges that we're facing, I'm very pleased to make a significant announcement here today. We will be contributing $45 million Jamaican dollars to the country and pledging this through various means. Firstly, with regards to some of our most needy customers, those being senior citizens and the disabled. We're pledging support for senior citizens with regards to their bills. This will be done through our local offices who work with customers who live alone and who've been challenged in terms of paying their bills. We're going to be working with those customers. At the same time, we're going to be working with some of our disabled customers and ensuring that we keep them, powered through these tough times. So we're making a commitment at this point in time from a health and economics point of view to support both our senior citizens and our disabled customers. We're also committing not to disconnect from these two groups over the next period of time so that these groups can ensure that we keep light on to all of these customers. At the same time, the JPS Foundation, through our shareholders, the Korean East-West Power team, will be bringing to Jamaica some of the most advanced test equipment in the world in testing kits. This equipment will provide results to our country in a matter of hours, whereas even in the news from the United States, people are complaining about the results taking 9 days. We'll have the results within a matter of hours here in Jamaica. This equipment has been ordered and it will arrive here in Jamaica within 2 weeks. And it's a significant contribution from our shareholders, the Korean East-West Power team. We're very pleased to be working with Jamaicans and all of our customers in this regard and making a significant contribution, both financially and support for our customers, both from a health and economic point of view. At this point, I'm going to be turning over the mic to our Senior Vice President of Customer Service, Ramsey McDonald.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. Good morning, our customers. Thank you for joining us this morning. So let me update you on what we've been doing so far. We have limited the number of outages we are going to be doing over the next couple of months to only our critical maintenance outages. And this is to ensure that you can have safe, reliable power throughout this period, as we recognize more of our customers are at home, working from home, online schooling, and the likes that are going on right now. And we want to ensure that you have an enjoyable time while at home. So we will be limiting the number of maintenance outages to only critical outages. And we've limited the time to 6 hours per outage. So therefore, you should see fewer interruptions over the coming months. One of the key things we recognize also that you're our partners, and we're committed to working with you. But we can only do this if we work together. We understand the challenges that many of you have faced with the coronavirus, and we empathize with you as you go through this process. We too, like you, have families, and we have fears about what's happening. But we are committed to working with you in every possible way. And so, through our online platforms and through our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, we will be communicating with you as much as possible. We're also committed to allowing you to contact us and work with you in terms of your payment terms. We're looking to give you more flexible payment terms as we work through this very trying time. But we can't do this alone. We need you to play your part. We need you to meet us halfway in terms of what we're doing. And so we encourage you to make your payments as best as possible, but recognize that we are here to assist. So as we continue through this very trying time, we just want to say that we here at JPS are committed to ensuring that whatever needs to be done in terms of partnering with you and developing this relationship, we'll continue to do so. And we trust that you'll remain safe as you go through a very trying time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ramsey. I'll now ask our Chief Financial Officer, Vernon, to say a few words.
Good morning, customers. Good morning, Jamaica. At JPS here, our focus remained three-pronged during this period. Firstly, to ensure the smooth and sustainable provision of electricity to all Jamaicans, be it residential or businesses. Secondly, to ensure that we can meet our obligations to our lenders, to our vendors, particularly as it relates to the inputs of fuel and gas into the production of electricity. And thirdly, to ensure that our staff and contractors execute their duties safely during this time. We believe that at this time, as a country, we should embrace partnerships even further than we have done before. Partnerships with you, our customers, partnerships with our suppliers, and partnerships with government. We want to commend the government in particular for the initiatives that they have taken thus far to keep our nation safe. We, however, believe that we, through JPS, the government of Jamaica, can even work closer with us to bring greater stimulus to the Jamaican economy at this time. We want to share with you that we have recommended a few measures to the government of Jamaica that we believe will be important to you, our customers. Firstly, we have asked the government to consider the removal of GCT for all bills for a period of at least 90 days. That is zero rate in GCT for both residential and commercial customers for the next 90 days. Secondly, we have asked the government to consider to remove the special consumption tax that goes on fuel that is part of the production cost of electricity at this time. And thirdly, we have asked for support from both the Bank of Jamaica and the government of Jamaica as it relates to the availability of foreign exchange to us as a company in procuring necessary fuels that are required for the production of electricity. These initiatives primarily will contribute significantly in reducing the cost of electricity at this time. And we know that together we can work to bring the necessary confidence and the necessary resilience required to the economy, to you, our customers, at this time. And we are pushing hard and we are collaborating hard to make sure that we can bring sustainable power, knowing at this time your customers are challenged. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Vernon. Thank you very much, Vernon. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it. JPS, as your essential service provider, we are doing everything that we can to serve you during this period. We are doing everything that we can to keep the lights on, but this takes partnership. We are supporting our customers. We are making a gift of diagnostic equipment to the Ministry of Health, and we are asking for further partnership with you as well as the government. Now, I'm going to ask you to raise your hands if you have questions. For those persons who are on the Zoom link, you can just raise your hand, and we will take your questions. Those who are joining us by social media, we will take as many questions as we can. The floor is now open. We have a question from Vernon Darby. I believe Vernon is with Nationwide News Network. Please go ahead, Vernon.
Good morning. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we are.
Now, I know that JPS has lost quite a bit, significant. On a monthly basis, I get over 2 billion due to the theft of electricity. Now, JPS needs the capital in order to develop its infrastructure even more. But it's very clear that JPS is unable to fight the scourge of the stealing of electricity. What recommendation has the JPS made to government to get the support of government in terms of fighting this serious problem, which has national impact? Because the problem is not just JPS alone, it affects other utility companies. And if we continue with this idea of stealing electricity and stealing generally, it has serious social implications for the country and crime generally in Jamaica.
Thank you, Vernon. I will ask our CEO, Emmanuel, to take this one.
Sure. Thank you very much for the question, Vernon. And I would say that your figure of 2 billion that's probably on a monthly basis. That's the cost of electricity theft or stealing electricity from the grid on a monthly basis, is what I would say. So we've gone to government on many occasions to ask for support with this challenge, this problem. This is a problem that's well beyond the capacity of JPS to address. This requires enforcement. This requires support programs for customers. This requires wiring of customers' homes. This is a problem that's well beyond that of JPS, and on many occasions we've asked government for support. We've gone to the National Security Council and asked them for an enforcement team to be specialized or focused on the utility, not just for JPS, but for the Water Commission, for the telecoms, to enforce, and deal with the issue where people are stealing services from all of the utility companies, and this is a burden that's put onto everyone else, onto the rest of society. So we've done that. We're also working presently on a pilot program with the government in terms of two communities here in Jamaica, one being Mount Salem in Montego Bay, and the other one being here in St. Catherine, whereby we're going into these communities, we're going to wire all of the homes in the communities, build infrastructure and connect them. And then the pilot will really be to see how long or how many of those customers will remain paying customers at the end of this pilot. The challenge for many of the customers is they don't qualify to be connected. And so this becomes a social issue as well as a theft issue where people just cannot be connected and they're stealing electricity. So we're working on many fronts with the government to deal with this, but this is a significant problem. It's a problem that we as a country need to come together on and to deal with. I mean, the cost to the average electrical customer is about 20%. That's the total cost of electricity theft. So this is a major issue and one that we need to take on as a country, both JPS in partnership with the government and with partnership with all of our paying customers together to end, as you said, the scourge of electricity theft.
Thank you, Emmanuel. We have a question from a member of the public, Shanawaz. The question is, so what is JPS doing without the government? I'm going to ask you to speak to that one, Vernon.
So as I would have shared specifically early on, our major focus is to ensure that we can provide electricity sustainably at this time. And we have been working assiduously behind the scenes with our fuel suppliers, working to get extension in terms of credit terms to make sure that we can weather this storm. We have been working to ensure that we have redesigned aspects of our business to make sure that we work more efficiently. We have had to chop spend significantly to ensure that we focus on basically staying afoot during this time. Those are some key things that we're doing internally just to guarantee that we are able to serve the market at this very challenged time that we are faced.
Thank you, Vernon. A question from Christine Hendricks on Zoom. Please go ahead, Christine.
I was just sharing that we weren't seeing you on Facebook, and so our persons were asking and wondering why. But it is now on. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks. We have a question, and this is from Robert Tuller on Facebook. Morning. Some of us customers' parents are elderly, living by themselves, and the bills are in the children's names. How can we guarantee that their electricity won't be disconnected? Well, the announcement is specifically for our customers, persons with accounts with JPS, but that doesn't mean that in a situation like this, we wouldn't be able to support this particular customer who is in the vulnerable categories that we have indicated. So we will provide numbers. We ask that you contact us with the information on this customer, and we will be able to assist with the announcement that the CEO has made. We have another question. So we have one question. What type of equipment, what is the equipment about? Emmanuel, can you just tell us a little bit more about the equipment?
Certainly, Winsome. So this is equipment that will be utilized to test people for the coronavirus and COVID-19. And this is among the most advanced in the world at this point in time. It's one of the most accurate, and is certainly, from my knowledge, the fastest. Like, the results will actually come in under an hour. But that patient shouldn't expect that they're going to get the results in under an hour, because it'll take some time for processing. But essentially, there's two components to it. There's the test equipment that is back at a central location where it takes the test kit. So there's a test kit that a patient will utilize to provide the sample for the test equipment, and then that test kit is delivered to the test equipment location. It's processed through that test equipment, and within an hour, the person who runs the test equipment can actually make a determination if the person is positive or negative for COVID-19. As I said earlier, this morning I was watching on the American news a patient complaining that it took 9 days in the United States to get a result. Here in 2 weeks, when this equipment arrives, we'll be able to make those determinations and provide results much more quickly. And there's been calls and requests for Korea, from the United States, from Canada, from France, and the United Kingdom, all for this specialized equipment which we're going to be receiving here in Jamaica. So I'm very pleased that our Korean East-West Power partners or shareholders were able to facilitate the delivery of this equipment to Jamaica in a very timely manner.
We have another question. Why not extend the question from Michelle Brown, Facebook: what kind of leniency is being given to customers during this crisis?
So Michelle, what we're looking at is it's on a case-by-case basis. We have adjusted our disconnection policy in terms of the length of time that it takes for disconnection to be triggered. But what we're trying to do is ensure that customers can deal with us one-on-one, because each customer has various unique situations and their ability to pay. So we're dealing with it on a case-by-case, so you can easily reach out to us at any one of our offices or through our online portals.
Thank you, Ramsey. We have one other question which I'll ask Vernon to respond to. Why not extend the stay on disconnections to other customers, not just the disabled and the elderly?
Thank you, Winsome. We have to strike a very delicate balance between, as we said, the number one focus at this time is to provide electricity to every single Jamaican. Unfortunately, this comes at a cost, and it comes with commitments. Clearly, we have to buy all the fuel, and all the inputs goes into the production of electricity, as well as the electricity that we buy. So it requires us to pay those commitments, and unfortunately, when those have to be balanced with the fact that we have to pay for those inputs. It's very important to highlight, and this is one of the reasons that drove us to really think deep as to what additionally we can do apart from the initiatives that Emmanuel announced. And the tax breaks that we are seeking in particular will result in a significant dent to electricity pricing if effectuated. And I think it is something that we'd want to see actualized very shortly.
Thank you very much, Vernon. Do we have any other questions? Okay, this question is from J.M. Miller. How the JPS will assist customers who are not working because they lost their jobs because of the virus? Ramsey, you want to take that one?
So it's important, once again, and we'll stress this, everything is on a case-by-case basis. We will work with you, reach out to us, and we'll see how best we can assist in terms of transitioning and ensuring that payments can be made at a more affordable level for these customers. But it requires us to have that dialogue. It's not something that we can do blanket, because as you recognize, we're trying to ensure that we keep the lights on and serve all of Jamaica.
Thank you, Ramsey. Now, the question, this question, gas price has dropped. When will we see this on our bills? Vernon?
Thank you, Winsome. We do use a combination of oil and natural gas as key inputs into the production of electricity, or electricity that we buy. To the extent that those prices have changed downwards, that is something that flows through monthly on all electricity bills as a standard, as part of the fuel and IPP charges. That's a straight cost pass-through to customers. So when those charges trend downwards, it's immediately passed through to all customers in a transparent basis.
Thank you, Vernon. Okay, we have a question here from Dan Corinthian. Given that disconnections are still being done, are measures being put in place to safeguard employees that are required to do disconnections in person? Ramsey, can you take that one?
So, first and foremost, we'll never endanger the lives of any of our employees. It's always about safety first. And so, therefore, as they execute upon their jobs, if there's a situation that poses to be a safety hazard, we'll ask them to stand down from that. So we're not asking our employees to take unnecessary risks in doing the job.
Thank you, Ramsey. Carrie Ann Bailey, her question is, what about persons who are on the pay-as-you-go system because the kids are home and the kilowatt hours are not lasting? What about persons who are on the pay-as-you-go system because the kids are home and the kilowatt hours are not lasting? Ramsey, I'm going to ask you to take this one also.
So again, what we're looking at is trying to be as efficient in the usage of energy. The pay-as-you-go system, as you know, registers, you pay as you utilize the energy. And obviously with children at home, you're probably finding that you'll have a greater usage. But again, try and use ways of being efficient as best as possible and manage it as best as you can where that's concerned. But the pay-as-you-go system, as we say, it's registering what you use and you're paying an amount based on your usage.
And just to comment further that in the eventuality that your pay-as-you-go credit runs out, we do have a BLI system in place where you can always, if you're at work whilst this has happened and the kids are at home, you can always ring our offices and we can effectuate a BLI or a temporary credit so that you are never out of power. And thanks for sharing that with us.
Thank you, Vernon and Ramsey. This other question, will the late fee be removed? Vernon? With the late fee, that's the late payment. We have the early payment incentive and the late payment.
Thanks for that. So at the moment, we do have what early payment incentive that doubles as if it's not effectuated on time as a late fee. We are evaluating that, and certainly as part of the individual conversations that we would look at those fees because if on a case-by-case basis.
Patricia Reed-Waugh, could JPS use this opportunity to educate customers again about the cost-cutting measures in reducing their consumption, like plugging out appliances, using energy-saving bulbs, using the refrigerator power-saving device that turns off the fridge at midnight and turns it on early in the morning? Ramsey, that's a suggestion from Patricia Reed-Waugh.
And thank you very much, Patricia. And we will continue to do that as we communicate with our customers. And we've embarked on a widespread education campaign through social media and in the press, and we'll continue to do so, showing and demonstrating to our customers how they can use energy efficiently and wisely.
Thank you, Ramsey. Do we have anyone else on Zoom who would like to raise your hand? Please go right ahead. We have a few minutes remaining. Okay, so to wrap up, we do not have any additional questions coming in now. To wrap up, I just quickly summarize some of the things that we've talked about. JPS has announced today that we are pledging an additional $45 million to the national fight in this crisis with the COVID pandemic. And a significant portion of that is going towards the purchase of equipment through our Korean partners for donation to the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Our most vulnerable customers, the elderly and the disabled, will also benefit from this. We will provide for these persons with regards to some assistance with their bills as well as with care packages. And we're setting up a particular line, and we're partnering with the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities as we seek to identify these customers. We are working to continue to keep the lights on for our customers. We, as an essential service, we have to keep the lights on for you 24 hours a day. That's our job, that's our commitment, and we need partnership to make sure that this happens. So we ask you to assist us in this regard by paying your bills when you can, and where there are challenges, you get in touch with us. We also ask that you manage your consumption, meaning your children are home and you're home. We're depending on you to just manage your consumption so that when the bill is to be paid at the end of the month, it's not too challenging for you. And we're also seeking partnerships with our other business partners, our suppliers, and also the government. This, ladies and gentlemen, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. JPS is committed to being here for you for the long haul. Thank you so much for joining us.